You've been carrying a lie for most of your life, not because you wanted to, but because the world made you. You were told that being quiet meant being weak. That your depth was too much. That your ability to feel everything made you fragile. You were told that your empathy was naive, your kindness was gullible, your isolation was unhealthy, and your silence was avoidance. But here's the truth no one ever told you. You were never the problem. The world just couldn't handle your depth. Because you, INFJ, are not built for surface living. You are not designed for noise. You were born with a soul that can see through masks, with a mind that connects dots people don't even notice, and with a heart that absorbs energy like oxygen. And that level of perception, that haunting, almost supernatural intuition, it makes people uncomfortable. They sense something in you. Something they can't define. Something that reminds them of what they've buried inside themselves. So today, I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth about your pain. Your silence. Your exhaustion. Your endless need to save people who can't even see you. Because the truth will hurt, but it will also set you free. 1. The world taught you to hide, because it couldn't handle your authenticity. From the moment you entered this world, you learned one lesson very quickly: your depth was not welcome. You noticed the pain in people's eyes before they spoke. You sensed tension that others pretended wasn't there. You could read the energy in a room and know who was pretending to be happy and who was breaking inside. But when you tried to talk about it, when you tried to make sense of what you felt, people dismissed you. They told you to stop overthinking, to stop being sensitive, to stop taking things so seriously. So you did what INFJs always do: you withdrew. You hid behind a polite smile. You pretended not to notice what you noticed. You learned to translate your intuition into silence. But here's the truth: your sensitivity was never a weakness. It was your first language. You see, you were born into a world addicted to distraction. People wear emotional armor and call it strength. They confuse indifference with maturity. They label empathy as weakness because it exposes their inability to feel. And yet, even when you tried to numb it, your soul refused to comply. That's why you always felt like an alien walking through human noise. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to wake people up. 2. You keep saving others because you're afraid of losing yourself. Let's be brutally honest. You've spent most of your life saving people who never asked for salvation, fixing broken souls, healing emotional wounds, and pouring light into people who didn't even want to see it. And deep down, you weren't just doing it because you're kind. You were doing it because you were afraid of what would happen if you stopped. Because if you stop giving, if you stop helping, if you stop saving, what's left? That silence terrifies you. Because it forces you to face your own reflection, the parts of you that are tired, unfulfilled, unseen. The truth is, you've made caretaking your identity. You've made empathy your armor. But here's the dark side: you can't save people who are committed to staying broken. You can't pour your soul into people who mistake your love for control. You can't keep proving your worth through suffering. INFJ, the truth is, you've been using healing others as a way to avoid healing yourself. And that's why you're exhausted. Because your soul was never meant to be a hospital for those who refuse to heal. 3. You feel alone because your frequency is rare. Let's be honest, you've always felt out of place. Even in a crowded room, surrounded by people, there's this invisible distance between you and everyone else. You feel people, but they don't feel you. You understand them, but they don't understand you. You read between their words, but when you speak your truth, it sounds like a foreign language to them. So you retreat. Not because you hate people, but because being around them often drains you more than it fills you. The truth? You're not lonely because no one likes you. You're lonely because you're tuned to a frequency most people can't hear. You operate on a wavelength where honesty, depth, and soul matter more than popularity or convenience. And in a world built on shallow validation, you will always feel like you're standing on the edge of something real, while everyone else is busy pretending. That's not isolation, that's spiritual independence. So stop thinking there's something wrong with you for not fitting in. You're not supposed to blend into a world you came to transform. 4. You confuse peace with isolation. You crave peace. Not the kind people talk about in quotes, but real, unshakable, inner silence. You crave stillness because your mind never stops. You crave solitude because your empathy burns like 1,000 suns. But there's a dangerous trap in that craving. Sometimes, in your search for peace, you disappear completely. You cut off, you retreat, you ghost the world, not because you hate it, but because you no longer have the energy to explain yourself. And that's when you confuse peace with escape. The truth is, peace isn't hiding. It's standing in the chaos without losing your center. You can't keep running from noise hoping silence will save you. You have to build peace within yourself, not around yourself. Because when you do, you'll stop being afraid of being seen. INFJ, you were never meant to disappear, you were meant to become invisible yet undeniable. 5. You keep attracting broken people because you see their potential. You have this rare gift, the ability to see what someone could become if they healed. You see beauty in the broken, light in the lost, hope in the hopeless. But that gift is also your curse. Because you keep falling for potential instead of reality. You keep holding on to people's, could be, instead of who they actually are. And it destroys you, because they never become what you see. The truth is harsh. You can't build someone's future while they're still committed to their past. You keep thinking your love can awaken them, but love doesn't heal people who aren't ready to change. You have to stop confusing compassion with responsibility. You can care deeply without becoming someone's emotional lifeline. You're not here to rescue everyone. You're here to recognize who is capable of walking beside you. 6. You are not weak for feeling everything so deeply. You've been told countless times that you're too emotional, that you overthink, that you dramatize pain, that you should just let things go. But the truth is, you don't just feel emotions, you process them like energy. You absorb what others can't handle. You sense pain behind smiles and motives behind words. That's not overthinking, that's spiritual intelligence. But because you live in a world that glorifies numbness, your depth gets mislabeled as fragility. INFJ, hear me clearly, you are not weak because you feel. You are powerful because you still feel in a world that's gone numb. Feeling deeply is your superpower. It allows you to understand the world not through logic, but through vibration. And yes, it hurts. But that pain is also what makes you divine. 7. You can't keep apologizing for who you are. Let's tell the truth. You've spent most of your life apologizing for your existence. You apologize for taking up space. You apologize for saying no. You apologize for being misunderstood, for being too quiet, too distant, too intense, too intuitive. But tell me, when did being yourself become something to be sorry for? You keep shrinking to make others comfortable, but the truth is, the people who are intimidated by your energy are the ones who need to grow. INFJ, stop dimming your light to protect the eyes of those who refuse to open theirs. You were not made to be digestible, you were made to be transformative. 8. Your darkness is not your enemy, it's your teacher. There's a side of you that scares even you. The part that feels cold, detached, almost ruthless when you've been hurt too many times. The part that says, "I'm done," and truly means it. You hate that side because it doesn't fit your image of being gentle and kind. But here's the truth. That darkness is not your enemy. It's your boundary. Your darkness shows up when your light has been abused for too long. It protects you when your empathy has been drained. Don't suppress it, integrate it. Because your shadow is the guardian of your light. You don't need to be pure. You need to be whole. 9. You're not falling behind, you're moving differently. You look around and see people moving fast, chasing careers, building families, checking boxes, achieving milestones, and you wonder if you're behind. But what you forget is that your timeline was never meant to match theirs. You don't grow in public. You grow in silence. You evolve in the dark. You go through long seasons of nothingness, not because you're stuck, but because your transformation requires solitude. INFJ, your growth is slow because it's deep. You're not meant to sprint, you're meant to transcend. 10. You've been seeking validation from a world that will never understand you. You keep hoping someone will finally see you, really see you. But the truth is, most people only understand what reflects themselves. And since there's nothing ordinary about you, most people won't understand your heart until they evolve into the kind of soul that can. So stop seeking approval from those who are spiritually asleep. Your worth isn't found in recognition. It's found in resonance. You don't need to be liked, you need to be known by yourself. 11. You keep mistaking detachment for healing. You think cutting people off is healing. You think disappearing is growth. But real healing isn't about walls, it's about wisdom. You can isolate yourself for years and still carry the same wounds. True healing happens when you can face the world again, not as a victim, but as a master of your energy. You'll know you're healing when the same people, the same chaos, the same tests come back, and you no longer react the same way. That's when your peace becomes power. 12. Your empathy is sacred, but it needs boundaries. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. You think loving endlessly is noble, but it's not love if it costs you your soul. You can still be kind and say no, you can still be compassionate and protect your energy. You owe no one access to your light if they've proven they'll only use it to find their shadow. INFJ, your empathy is a gift, but a gift must be protected to stay sacred. 13. You were never meant to be normal. Normal is a cage. And deep down, you've always known it. You've tried to play by society's rules, to fit in, to adapt, to tone down your intensity, but every time you do, you feel yourself dying a little inside. The truth is, your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. You came here to break patterns, not repeat them. You came here to question systems, not submit to them. You came here to remember who you are when the world tries to make you forget. Stop trying to be normal. You were born to be necessary. 14. The truth. You are becoming what you were always meant to be. All your pain, all your confusion, All your heartbreaks, they weren't punishments. They were purifications. Every time you broke, you were being refined. Every time you lost someone, you were being redirected. Every time you were misunderstood, you were being prepared for people who would finally understand. INFJ, the truth is, you've been becoming all along. Your silence wasn't emptiness, it was gestation. Your solitude wasn't punishment, it was initiation. And now, it's time. It's time to stop apologizing for your light. It's time to stop carrying guilt for your gifts. It's time to stop mistaking rejection for failure. It's time to stop letting people drain the magic out of your mind. You were never meant to be understood by everyone, only by those who are awake enough to see you. The world told you to fit in. But the universe is whispering something else. You were never here to blend, you were here to lead. So, INFJ, here's the truth no one told you. You are not too deep, they're just too shallow. You are not too sensitive, they're just too numb. You are not too intense, they're just too disconnected. You've always been the mirror, the one who reflects what others deny. You've always been the bridge between the human and the divine. You've always been the reminder that light doesn't scream to be seen, it simply shines. So let this truth settle in your bones, you are not broken. You are becoming.